day to be driving directly into the sun. We're nearly there now, Xanthus. We've probably driven a little bit longer than we would have liked, but I wanted to...
Turn right, then turn left.
There's not a lot of options along this stretch of road, and I do have an ulterior motive, because tomorrow morning I've got to go and dig up some fuel that Chris and I cached a year ago. Right, we're going to go and see if we can find this fuel that we buried. What happened is this time last year, myself, Chris and a couple of other blokes were on motorbikes, and we brought extra fuel out with us because later that year we were going to come through this way to get to a motorcycle rally, and we needed that sort of fuel range. So we each brought some fuel out here and buried it, marked it with a drop pin on Google Maps, and now we're here to retrieve it. Chris has picked up a scent.
There's a log.
Yeah, there's a log, and
that's it.
And there's an inverted beer bottle.
Yeah, that's it.
You don't need no lat long anymore, not with Google Maps. And look at that, eh? Look at that. Just the way we left it. Now we only buried it just below the surface in case there was a scrub fire or something, so it shouldn't take long to retrieve. Small steps. Yeah, so there it is, 30 litres of fuel, and at today's current price, because of the fuel crisis, that's probably a deposit for a house.
1, 2, 3, 4. Right, we've left for the morning. We're just going to go to Xanthus, what used to be the old railway siding. There's a little bit of infrastructure here. I think it's an outpost for different mobs. Just going to go here because I know they've got good quality water here. I burst a jerry can a couple of days ago, so I lost 20 litres. I've still got 20 litres, but you can never have too much water out here. So we'll just collect some water and then start making our way south from here to Balladonia on a not very well used track. Vegetation, they've clearly had a wildfire through here some years ago, and there's a lot of new regrowth, but must have been devastating at the time. Every tree's been killed off. Far off now from arriving at Balladonia. Balladonia is nothing more than a roadhouse on the side of the air highway. It was put on the map some years ago. Parts of Skylab fell to earth, space junk fell in and around Balladonia. I think that was in the 1970s or something like that. So yeah, that put Balladonia on the map. They actually have a museum at the roadhouse, not that we're going to be going to see that. So yeah, fairly seamless journey to get to this point. Probably about 4 hours of driving to do about 170 kilometres. So, yeah, we'll be here long enough for refuel, up like to eat, and then get on another telegraph track heading towards Norseman for about 200 kilometres. left Balladonia. This road that we're on now will actually take us back towards Israelite Bay if you keep heading south. It's no longer maintained by the Shire. It's dug up in several places. I think technically it's closed, but we're only going down a few kilometres and then turning right onto the telegraph track. Is that it?
Yeah.
Got to do a bit of track maintenance, a bit of track clearing as we go. Getting on in the afternoon. I've travelled this track several times over the years, but always from west to east. I've never travelled it in this direction, east to west. And roads and tracks take on a completely different perspective when you do them the other way around. So yeah, this has been a little bit different for me because the track takes on a whole new meaning. Bush camping along this stretch is problematic. There's not too many areas that lend itself to a cleared area big enough for only 4 cars. We'll keep going for a little while yet in the hope that we can find a suitable area to pull up.
Fortunately, I've got my bottle out.
Right away for the morning. We've got about 80 kilometres to go of the telegraph track before we hit the blacktop. We're currently heading west, and then from there we'll head north to Norseman for fuel and probably a bite to eat. Don't know where we're going to end up later today. It doesn't really matter. We've got time on our side, and my guess is we'll probably be home tomorrow evening. Well, the trip was going swimmingly today. Just pulled over to clear some debris from the track, and now Chris has discovered a puncture. When did you feel that go, mate?
Oh, I heard a track there. Flap, 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 flap.
Did you hit something? Or?
Oh, no, not really.
Thankfully that tyre was near toast anyway, so we'll swap it out and get moving again. Back on the road. That tyre, I had a closer look at it, and yeah, he's got his money's worth out of that tyre. It's been on the car for about 70,000 kilometres, and that would have included the Simpson Desert, the Canning Stock Route, Great Central Road more than once, Flinders Ranges, Googs Track. So yeah, I'm not surprised that the tyre's given up the goat. It could be something as simple as a failed plug. I did notice an old plug in the tyre. We'll inflate it when we pull up somewhere and see if we can find the hole, and yeah, we may be able to plug it and get some more life out of it. We're nearing the end of this particular part of the telegraph track. We're going to come to a junction where there are some information boards about the telegraph track, a bit of history there, and that also joins up with the Dundas Heritage Trail. So we might follow that into Norseman, about, I don't know, 19 or 20 kilometres. Alright, we'll just make our way along this Heritage Trail. I've never been along here before, so it's one of the reasons I want to go along and have a look what it has to offer. And the other thing, of course, is we've got time on our side, so we might as well, yeah, have a look, see, eh? Yeah, at that junction back there, that's the junction of the telegraph track and the Heritage Trail. There were some information boards there, and it mentioned on one of those information boards that this was the second line, because we're inland now. I was curious about that. The first telegraph track, or the first telegraph alignment, was along the coast, which of course we did, you know, a few days ago, and this was a second one later, more direct to the east coast. Richard, is the track like this the whole way?
Yeah, it was reasonable. As I said, we dragged the Jayco here. It did get a bit lumpy or corrugated in some spots back then.
Okay, roger, thank you. Some interesting points of interest along this Heritage Trail. Yeah, old diggings, old mines, old headers, a cricket pitch dating back to the 1870s. So, yeah, I'm glad we took the option of taking this road out. Alright, we're on the outskirts of Norseman.
100 metres turn left, then turn left.
We're on the outskirts of Norseman now. We'll use this opportunity to refuel, resupply, get fuel, have a bite to eat. Most importantly, have a shower. You can get a shower at the BP Roadhouse. So I'm sure most of us will do that. So we'll be here for a couple of hours and then continue.
Turn left, then turn left.
Then continue heading west on the Hyde and the Norseman Road, which was the road originally closed nearly 2 weeks ago. But they haven't had too much rain since then, so I'm sure it'll be open. I checked a couple of days ago and the road was open then, and I wouldn't
Turn
expect
left,
too
then
many
turn
problems.
right.
Seeing we've got access to an air compressor here. We've inflated Chris's spare tyre, the one that got punctured, and we found the hole easy enough. You could hear the air pissing out of it. It's quite a big hole. We've stuck 5 plugs in it, and it's not making any difference. So rather than just keep chucking money at it, we'll cut our losses. He does have a second spare, but he's got to pull half his car to bits to access it because it's stuck under his false floor in the back. But anyway, he's got a second spare, so push come to a shove, we can always use that. Okay, we're going to get underway pretty soon, get on the Hyde and the Norseman Road, and find a bush camp at a place called McDermott Rock, we think.
Turn right, then turn right. Turn left, then turn.
No, which truck? You're going past it, mate, you're going past it. Alright, we've just turned towards McDermott Rock. That's about 1.5 kilometres in. It's a big granite rocky outcrop. This place around here is dotted with them. Pretty early, 3 p.m. Gives us 2.5 hours of daylight before sunset, so we'll pull up, gather some firewood. This could be our last night on this trip, so hopefully have a big fire to celebrate.
Well, we've left for the morning. In fact, the group is splitting up. Both Steve and Sue and Richard and Kylie, they're going to spend
200 metres turn right.
they're going to spend another night before returning to Perth. Chris and myself, we want to be back in Perth by this evening. It's been an interesting journey. I was happy to lead the trip. It was actually my idea. The reason for that is I wanted to see parts of that coastline that I hadn't seen before. Been close a couple of times, but never actually been there. So I was happy to lead the trip, and some of that coastline is
Turn right.
absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Also, we did do some roads and tracks that the group hadn't been on before, so that was a bonus. A fairly seamless journey, 3 punctures between the 6 vehicles, but you know, considering the conditions, that's not bad. But other than that, yeah, fairly seamless journey. Look, as I said, we'll be home by this evening, and from here you wouldn't expect too much to go wrong. So this being the final approach, you know what that means? See you on the other side.